Hello, this is John, host of Mgtow is Freedom. This is a channel where men who understand feminism can come to talk about it. They can come to talk about how their lives have been destroyed by it, how they need to avoid the pitfalls of the feminist woman and the feminist society and social engineering. I spent a lot of time looking into this, years and years, gentlemen. I have spent years and years and years studying psychology just to get a grasp of what is going on. It is amazing the perpetual and pervasive entitlement mentality and victimhood mentality of feminists, and their unwillingness to accept responsibility for themselves and what they do. It is shocking to me, absolutely shocking, the lengths they will go to keep themselves hidden. They are like snakes that want to slither under rocks. And they will continue to try and use, even after they've been exposed, the same tricks. Last night I received from my ex-wife a text. And it started out talking about how if I want to get pictures of my son's senior graduation or senior photos from the photographer, I could get a hold of the person. And then it went into, well, I'm glad you have a YouTube channel. I found out about it. And I would really appreciate it if while you film Mgtow is Freedom videos that you don't do so in front of our children. And it's amazing to me how when it suited her, she would call them my boys, meaning her, talking about my boys as she had a Facebook page where I was absent. She didn't claim or act or looked or sound as if she was married, and everything was about her and her sons, my boys. But anytime she needs to get me to behave, it becomes our children and our sons. And a demand for respect comes about. This demand for respect. And that I should do it for, I don't know what, for her honor? Does that sound right to you guys? Does that sound like someone who continues to play the game? That I need to be responsible and respectable and that she's a woman and she deserves that. She's entitled to it. That's very common. None of this comes as a surprise to me. What I do find interesting is it must have been someone at her work that pointed it out to her. It must have been somebody that pointed it out to her, and she was probably shocked. Well, that's the way it goes, right? I was pretty shocked when I found out what she was doing. Right? And she wants to say that, well, she doesn't want me to talk about it or film my videos in front of the kids, which I don't really do. The hypocrisy stinks to high heaven. What she doesn't want to do is she doesn't want to be exposed as someone that has been, in my opinion, acting like a feminist. She is trying to hide. Now, her work, or maybe her boyfriend, her live-in boyfriend, who she was trying to move in before I even got out, who was coming over to my house before I was even moved out of it. You know, she doesn't want the embarrassment, because it seems like now people in her life know who she is. And here's things about this. Now, here's what's amazing to me. Is they're all feminists, I'm sure of it. And they don't want to be exposed either. Just exposed for being what they are. Now, do I love feminists? Fuck no, I don't. I've exposed myself. I put my face on here. And this cry, this cry for be respectful of our children is absolutely fucking asinine. based on what they're exposed to in public school. I tried saying our sons should be privately schooled, homeschooled, and she would not allow it. Instead, they go to school where there's a social and a socialist agenda, where there's a lesbian, gay, homosexual, faggot, queer movement that is off the hook in our city. And she's worried about what I expose them to. My kids come home to me, and they're honest with me because they're little men and I'm their father. And we talk about, they bring up women, and they do not talk about them nicely. They call them ratchets. They call them every dirty name in the book. Now, there's good ones, just like everywhere else. And then there are these terrible, filthy little girls. And they have to put up with the shit, the social programming and engineering that comes out of their mouths. My sons have to deal with that, not because of me, but because of what feminism has done. But feminism will ignore what they have done. And then they will, through their agents, look at me and say, oh, don't say anything in front of your sons. We don't want to expose them to that. To what? The truth? The truth of what these little vile creatures do, what big vile creatures do, these older feminists. You know, I'm not the first man to put a foot on the moon here. I'm not Christopher Columbus coming ashore on a new land. The evidence speaks for itself. The history of feminism is the destruction of the masculine, the destruction of the family, the destruction of children. That is what it's about. I'm not breaking new ground here. I'm just talking about it and telling men, you can go your own way in life. You no longer have to put up with this game. You don't have to suffer under it. And suffer you have. Women, feminists, complain about being objectified. Men are objectified. We are objects to be not revered, but to be reviled. We are beasts of burden for feminism, to pay for it, both socially and personally. There's this complaint of white privilege, male privilege. It's absolutely asinine. When you look at the facts, that privilege is turned on its head in front of the courts, and men are punished. Punished. The law, the lawyers, they do it. They play their games, and men are the ones who pay. We pay before and after the fact. Feminists are hypocrites, and they cannot look at themselves fairly. Now, I am no angel, I am not perfect. No one is. But they want to be. They want to pretend like nothing happened. Right? The bullshit my ex-wife pulled is outrageous. Out-fucking-rageous. Out-fucking-rageous, the games she played, the bullshit she pulled, the attempts to effeminize and emasculate me are out-fucking-rageous. And I conquered them, and I conquered her as a force in my life, a force of destruction. And I want men to know everywhere, you don't have to succumb to it. And when you get away from them, they're going to continue to try it. An attempt at guilt in a text message. Oh, I know about your videos, and I would appreciate it if you didn't do that. And as a woman, do you think I give a fuck about any of them as a woman? They're not acting like women. That's the whole goddamn point. They're acting like men. They are emasculated females. But they want all the special privileges. They want to talk shit and trash you, but then have you respect them. And what is respectable about them? Would you respect your ex-wife if her mother stole $1 million in assets from you? And then claimed she had nothing to do with it and she can't do anything about it? Would you? How the fuck would you feel if you had that much wealth stolen from you? Would you feel a degree of respect? Would you feel remorseful for being upset at it? I did a video called Righteous Indignation. That is, as a man, you have a right, goddammit, to be mad when things go wrong. When you've been wronged. And I'd just say, I'll just forget about it. One more thing. No. This is an example of the hypocrisy of feminism. The perpetual victimhood and entitlement mentality. The demand for equality. Would you treat someone as an equal who wronged you? Would you? No, they are not your equal. They get no consideration. Yet a feminist, a woman with a feminist mindset, they will. It is completely ridiculous. My sons are learning this on their own. They hear me, and maybe sometimes they don't agree with some of the things I say. Maybe sometimes they agree with things I say more than I could possibly know. My sons are young men. They're not children. They're not infants. They're not toddlers running around with crumbs all over their face. They look at what I do, and they look at what everyone else around them does, and they see it. All of our kids see it. And they can choose to be men, or they can choose to be little social puppets. And I know where my sons are. I know where they're at. And my ex-wife doesn't like the fact that they have a choice, that they can see things the way they want. I live alone, and I love it. I'm a man going my own way. She has chosen to do something completely different and doesn't want to be looked at, held accountable, judged for it, while she judges everyone else, including me. Now, if her friends, her workmates are watching this video and other videos I've done, then that's their choice. I'm not calling them gold-digging whores. I'm not calling them feminist cunts, because I don't know who they are. I don't know who's watching. I know what the odds are of them being one. And that's their choice. Everyone has a choice in this. And if they are one of those things, one of those users, one of those hypocritical lying creatures that takes everything a man has to offer and then throws him to the gutter when she's done with him, when she's had enough, when she feels scorned. Because all she can do is see herself. If those are the women that are watching this, then that's too fucking bad. You're hearing about yourself through my voice, through this channel. I look in a mirror every day and I say, you're the man. You're the man. You have the penis. You're responsible for yourself. I have committed no crime. I have done nothing wrong. I just want to be free. Free from all the restraint and control and bullshit. But I can't get free of the judgment of